It's defending the shield. Wrapping up week 5, May 5th, it's time for the real-time sim. Let's take a look at the finals. In the American Conference, the Raiders beat the Chargers 6-3. And in the National Conference, the Panthers beat the Bears 8-6. Now it's time to finish Sunday, May 5th in real time. Oh, we are at the time. And these games have already begun. It began me at 1:05 p.m. sim time, which is the exact beginning of each of these first round games. Okay, that's good to know. So we have, let's see, yes, we have 5 games in the 1:05 window. We have a 5:05 window, one game that starts at 8:05, and a 9:05 window. The Patriots host the Kansas City Chiefs. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers host the Atlanta Falcons. The Pittsburgh Steelers host the New York Jets. The Detroit Lions host the San Francisco 49ers. And the Buffalo Bills host the Cleveland Browns. The top performers you see are from the games that have already completed. Mike Kaiser is the number 1 performer thus far. All right, let's start the sim. We have the Cleveland Browns scoring first. In the top of the first inning, Kyle McDonald hits a solo home run. The Browns lead the Buffalo Bills 1-0. In Pittsburgh, the Steelers have scored. Butch Duff doubles, scoring Lee. The Steelers lead the Jets 1-0. All right. In Detroit, the San Francisco 49ers have scored in the top of the second inning. Scott Schumacher triples, scoring Bass. There's a diagnosis on Schumacher, who leaves the game with an injury. The 49ers have scored again in the top of the second inning. Bobby Earnhardt singles, scoring Gomez. The 49ers lead 2-0. The New England Patriots, in the bottom of the second innings, have scored a run. Jose Ortiz doubles, scoring Bernal. They lead the Chiefs 1-0. They've scored another run. Matt Fitzgerald grounds out, scoring Ortiz. The Patriots lead the Chiefs 2-0 in the bottom of the second inning. So the Browns lead the Bills 1-0. The Steelers lead the Jets 1-0. The 49ers lead the Lions 2-0. We have an update. The Falcons have scored in the top of the third inning. Drew Grigo doubles, scoring steam. The Falcons lead the Buccaneers 1-0. The Bills have tied the Browns, scoring in the bottom of the third inning. Craig Kendrick triples. Morgan scores. The Bills now tied 1-1. The Jets have tied the Steelers in the top of the fourth inning. Pat Hines hit a solo home run. The score is tied 1-1. Top of the fourth inning, the Kansas City Chiefs have tied the New England Patriots. Corey Henderson doubles, scoring Carrillo and Marciana. The Chiefs and Patriots are now tied 2-2. Eddie Caballo hits a 2-run home run for the San Francisco 49ers. They now lead the Lions 4-0 in the top of the fourth inning. The Steelers now lead the Jets 2-1. Gabriel Nieves singles, scoring Howard. The Buccaneers have tied the Falcons. It is now 1-1 in the bottom of the fourth. Ryan Signon hits a sac fly, scoring Hartman. The Buccaneers have taken a 2-1 lead as Manny Guzman triples, scoring Torres. In the bottom of the fourth, the Buccaneers lead the Falcons 2-1. Bottom of the fifth inning, the Steelers get a 2-run home run from Joe Howard. They now lead the Jets 4-1. Top of the fifth inning, the San Francisco 49ers, Josh Stewart doubles, scoring Buss and Schaefer. The 49ers lead the Lions 6-0. Top of the fifth inning, the 49ers, Eddie Carballo singles, scoring Stewart. They now lead 7-0. The Browns and Bills are still tied 1-1. The Chiefs and Patriots are still tied 2-2. We have an update. The Buccaneers in the bottom of the fifth inning. Edwin Fonseca singles, scoring Sandoval. They lead the Falcons 3-1. Bottom of the sixth inning. The Steelers score. Sun Woo Lee doubles, scoring Cato and Nieves. They now lead the Jets 6-1. The Falcons score in the top of the sixth inning. Roberto Roman singles home Lopez. They trail the Buccaneers 3-2. The Steelers score in the bottom of the sixth. Rafael Reyes hits a sac fly. Schmears scores. The Steelers lead the Jets 7-1. The Kansas City Chiefs score in the top of the seventh. Javier Carrillo doubles. Vinell scores. The Chiefs lead the Patriots 3-2. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers score in the bottom of the sixth inning. Tim McIntyre singles, scoring Signon. The Buccaneers lead the Falcons 4-2. They score again in the bottom of the sixth. Alberto Mercado hits a sacrifice fly. Guzman scores. The Buccaneers lead the Falcons 5-2. The Bills and Browns still tied 1-1. They're in the bottom of the 8th inning. We have an update. Top of the 7th inning, the Falcons score. Sergio Zambrano singles, scoring Bertram. They trail the Buccaneers 5-3. Bottom of the 8th inning, the Buffalo Bills break the 1-1 tie. Jamie Robinson doubles home Colin. The Bills lead the Browns 2-1. There's a diagnosis not known yet as Robinson leaves the game with an injury for the Buffalo Bills. Bottom of the 7th inning, the Lions get on the board. Zach McMaster doubles, scoring Maldonado. San Francisco leads 7-1 over the Lions. The Browns score and tie the game in the top of the 9th, 2-2. Eric Stoddard doubles, scoring McDonald. We have a final. The Steelers defeat the New York Jets 7-1. The winning pitcher is Smears for the Steelers. The losing pitcher, Dale, for the Jets. Top of the 9th inning, the Cleveland Browns break it open. After a 2-2 tie, George Garcia hits a 3-run home run. The Browns now lead 5-2. The Patriots, in the bottom of the 9th, take a 1-run lead as Dustin Baker doubles, scoring Bernal and Ortiz. They now lead the Chiefs 4-3, and it's a final. The New England Patriots defeat the Kansas City Chiefs 4-3. The winner, Shanks, for the Patriots. The loser is Barriga for the Chiefs. We have a final. The Cleveland Browns defeat the Buffalo Bills 5-2. The winner is Sanchez, 3-0 for Cleveland. The loser is Loaiza for Buffalo, now 1-2. The Falcons have tied it in the top of the 8th. Sergio Zambrano singles home Trim and Voigt. The Falcons and Buccaneers are tied 5-5. The Lions score in the bottom of the 9th. Runners advance on a wild pitch. Benitez scores. The Lions trail the 49ers 7-2, and it's a final. The Lions lose to the 49ers 7-2. The winning pitcher for San Francisco is Earnhardt. He's 2-1. The loser, Arrington, for the Lions. He's 3-4. We have one game remaining in the 105 window. The Buccaneers and Falcons are tied 5-5 in the bottom of the 9th. The 505 window includes Houston hosting Baltimore, Indianapolis hosting Miami, and the Cowboys hosting the Commanders, as well as the Saints hosting the Packers. They're in the top of the 10th. Falcons and Buccaneers tied 5-5. 20-some minutes remaining until the 505 games begin. Bottom of the 10th, still tied 5-5. Still tied 5-5. Bottom of the 10th, a runner on first. Now there are two runners in scoring position. Bottom of the 10th. Can the Buccaneers pull it out? We're approaching 5:05 sim time and the beginning of the next window of game. The score remains tied as they enter the top of the 11th. It's 5-5, Falcons and Buccaneers. I'm gonna pause the sim as we begin the next slate of games. The Houston Texans host the Baltimore Ravens. the Indianapolis Colts host the Miami Dolphins. The Dallas Cowboys host the Washington Commanders, and the New Orleans Saints host the Green Bay Packers. The Falcons-Buccaneers game continues, and we will give you the updates as they happen. Let's continue the sim. And we have Ignacio Sanchez leaving the game with an injury in the bottom of the 11th inning for the Buccaneers. In the Cowboys-Commanders game, top of the first inning, the Commanders' Matt Ramos hits a 2-run home run. The Commanders lead 2-0. Bottom of the first inning, the Colts' Ethan Martin hits a 2-run home run. The Colts lead the Dolphins 2-0. Bottom of the first inning, the Texans' Freddie Simpson doubles. Alvarado score. Houston leads Baltimore 1-0. In the bottom of the 12th, Buccaneers and Falcons are still tied 5-5. Top performers, Carlos Sandoval for Buffalo is number 1. 8 innings pitched, 4 hits allowed, 1 run, no walks, 7 strikeouts. We have an update. The Baltimore Ravens are on the board. They've tied the game 1-1. Rich Hernandez singles, Karn scores. Bottom of the second inning, the Indianapolis Colts, Matt Woodhouse singles, scoring Sanford. They lead 3-0. Again, Ethan Martin for the Indianapolis Colts grounds into a fielder's choice, scoring Jones. The Colts lead the Dolphins 4-0. We have a run scored in the Falcons-Buccaneers contest in the top of the 13th. For the Falcons, Danny Moreno singles home Bertram. They lead 6-5. Philadelphia. In the top of the third inning, Chris Baker doubles home Alier and Helms. They lead the Vikings 2-0. I don't remember seeing the Vikings. Oh, that's down here. Okay, Philadelphia and the Vikings. Must have got thrown off from that game. Okay. So Philadelphia leads the Vikings 2-0. Top of the third inning, Baker's doubles, scoring Alier and Helms. And we have a final in the Falcons-Buccaneers games. The Falcons win on the road 6-5 in 13. The winning pitcher, Maria, he's 1-0. The loser, Edwards, he's 0-1. Okay, so now I can see Philadelphia, Minnesota. Bottom of the third inning, the Houston Texans score. Runners advance on a wild pitch. McClellan scores. Houston leads the Ravens 2-1. Okay, bottom of the fourth inning, the Vikings score. Alejandro Navarro doubles, scoring Negrete. We have a diagnosis not known yet on Navarro, who leaves the game with an injury for the Vikings. In the bottom of the fourth inning, the score, the Eagles lead the Vikings 2-1. The Miami Dolphins score in the top of the fifth. Manny Garcia hits a sac fly, scoring Garay. They trail the Indianapolis Colts 4-1. In the top of the fifth inning, Philadelphia scores. Chris Baker singles, scoring Cuevas. The Eagles lead the Vikings 3-1. Top of the fifth inning, the Packers Yashimatsu Fujimoto singles, scoring Henning. The Packers lead the Saints 1-0. Number 2 top performer is Sergio Zambrano. He went 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs for the Falcons. Houston leads Baltimore 2-1. Commanders lead Dallas 2-0. Colts lead Miami 4-1. Packers lead the Saints 1-0. We have an update. The Baltimore Ravens have scored and tied the game 2-2 in the top of the 6th inning. Ben Cans singles, scoring Durant. The Eagles lead the Vikings 3-1. Number 3 top performer was Sam Sneer. He was 7 innings pitched, 4 hits allowed, 1 run, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. We have an update. Bottom of the 6th inning, the New Orleans Saints. Clark Jenkins hits a sac fly, scoring Cruz. They have tied the game. It is 1-1, Saints hosting the Packers. Houston and Baltimore tied 2-2, bottom of the 7th inning. Packers and Saints tied 1-1 in the bottom of the 7th. We have an update. Bottom of the 7th inning, the Vikings, Antonio Negrete hits a 3-run home run, giving them the lead over the Eagles. They now lead 4-3. Bottom of the 6th inning, the Cowboys have tied the game with the Commanders 2-2. Bryce Newhouse triples, scoring Contreras and Norgard. The Vikings. In the bottom of the 7th inning, Jeremy Lamb hits a 2-run home run, giving them a 6-3 lead over the Eagles. Houston and Baltimore tied 2-2. Dallas, Washington tied 2-2. New Orleans, Green Bay tied 1-1. Colts lead Miami 4-1. Vikings lead Eagles 6-3. You have an 8:05 start and then a 9:05 window. We have an update. The Houston Texans have scored in the bottom of the 8th inning. Bob Stifler hits a solo home run to give the Texans a 3-2 lead over the Ravens. In the bottom of the 8th, the Saints have scored. Clark Jenkins singles home. Jenkins scores. It's 2-1 Saints. We have a final. The Colts have defeated the Dolphins at home 4-1. Roby the winner for the Colts, 2-1. Pacheco the loser for the Dolphins. He's now 4-1. Okay, the Cowboys have scored in the bottom of the 7th. Bill Prushke singles home Ponce and Huerto. They lead the Commanders 4-2. Cowboys score again in the bottom of the 7th. Dylan Norgard doubles, scoring Krushke. They lead the Commanders 5-2. The Packers have scored in the top of the 9th. Josh Fuller doubles. Lamond and Mazza both score. The Packers lead the Saints 3-2. We have a final. The Vikings have defeated the Eagles at home. Plum, the winner for the Vikings, he's 1-0. Alir, the loser for the Eagles, he's now 1-3. We have a final in Houston. The Texans have defeated the Ravens 3-2. Harris, the winner for Houston, 3-1. Asensio, the loser for the Ravens, 0-2. Washington has scored in the top of the 8th. Al Weatherby's triples home Earls. They trailed the Cowboys 5-3. We have a final in New Orleans. The Packers have defeated the Saints 3-2. The winner, Henson, he's 2-1 for the Packers. The loser, Flores, for the Saints, he's 2-3. The Commanders have tied the game in the 8th inning. It is now 5-5 as Jake Puerta triples. Weathersby and Fierro both score. The Commanders and Cowboys are tied at 5-5. It is past 8:05. The Tennessee-Cincinnati game is underway. They're in the bottom of the 2nd inning with no score. The Commanders have scored in the top of the 9th. Kyle Weathersby singles home Carrillo. The Commanders lead the Cowboys 6-5. We see our late games here. Denver hosting Jacksonville, Seattle hosting the Giants, and the Cardinals hosting the Rams. The Commanders lead the Cowboys. We have a final. The Commanders defeat the Cowboys 6-5. The winner, Gavidin, he's 2-0 for Washington. The loser, Stewart, he's 1-4 for the Cowboys. One game is underway. The Titans hosting the Bengals. Bottom of the 3rd inning. There's no score. Let's see who has risen in our rankings of the top performers of the day. Here's Antonio Negrete of the Minnesota Vikings. Went 3 for 4 today with a double, home run, and 3 runs batted in. We have a final. Did I report the Commanders Cowboys? I believe I did. They win 6-5. Okay. We're approaching 9:05 sim time and the beginning of the final window of our day. And we have a score. The Bengals are on the board in the top of the 4th inning. Bob Krause doubles home Bedney. The Bengals lead the Titans 1-0. And we're underway. Seattle hosting the Giants. The Broncos hosting the Jaguars. And the Arizona Cardinals hosting the St. Louis Rams. Mark Hicks of the Saints. 8 innings pitched, 7 hits allowed, 1 run, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. Not bad. Okay, we've got a couple of updates here. The Giants score in the top of the 1st inning. Ricardo Santibanez hits a 2-run home run. They lead the Seahawks 2-0. In the bottom of the 4th, the Titans have scored. Kyle Marter doubles. Garcia scores. They now lead 2-1 over the Bengals. Top of the 1st inning, the Giants have scored again. Tom Reddick hits a solo home run. 3-0, they lead the Seahawks. The Broncos have scored in the bottom of the 1st. Jabari Steptoe hits a solo shot. Denver leads Jacksonville 1-0. They score again. Cody Will singles for the Broncos. Patrica scores. Denver leads Jacksonville 2-0. Top of the 5th inning, the Bengals score. Sam Osborne singles home Shea and Lodano. They now lead Tennessee 3-2. The diagnosis is not known yet for Tennessee as John Gish leaves the game with an injury. I believe that's the starting pitcher. The score is 3-2 Cincinnati in the bottom of the 5th inning. The Giants have scored in the top of the 2nd. Dave Rondan hits a solo home run. They now lead the Seahawks 4-0. Top of the 5th inning, Cincinnati Bengals. Rich Rodriguez doubles, scoring Osborne and Bedney. They lead the Titans 5-2. bottom of the second inning, the Arizona Cardinals have scored. A wild pitch advances the runners. Hines scores. Arizona leads St. Louis 1-0. The Bengals have scored in the top of the fifth. Bob Krause hits a 2-run home run, giving the Bengals a 7-2 lead over the Tennessee Titans. Bottom of the third inning, Arizona Cardinals, Matt Lotzer hits a solo home run. They lead the Rams 2-0. Carlos Sandoval remains atop the top performers with his 8 innings, 4 hits allowed, 1 run, no walks, and 7 strikeouts performance. We have an update. The Denver Broncos in the bottom of the third inning, Mike Blakeney singles, Petrarca and Gillian score. They lead Jacksonville 4-0. The Bengals continues to pile it on. Top of the seventh, Bob Krause walks, scoring Osborne. Top of the seventh, 9-2 the score. Andy Martinez hits a sac fly. Bedney scores. And in the top of the seventh, Davis Mora doubles, scoring Rodriguez and Krause. Cincinnati leads Tennessee 11-2. And Bob Krause has taken over the top of the leaderboard for the day. A 2 for 3, a double, a home run, and 4 runs batted in. Tennessee, in the bottom of the seventh, has scored. Nick Horn grounds into a fielder's choice, scoring McClary. They trail Cincinnati 11-3. Seattle has scored in the bottom of the fifth inning. Mike Jenkins doubles, scoring Guerrero, and runners advance on a wild pitch. Fay scores. Seattle trails the New York Giants 4-2 at home in the bottom of the fifth inning. Cincinnati leads Tennessee 11-3. New York leads Seattle 4-2. Denver leads Jacksonville 4-0. And Arizona leads St. Louis 4-0. We're in about the sixth inning. We're in the bottom of the eighth in the Tennessee game. They started a little earlier. We have updates. Bottom of the eighth inning, Tennessee scoring again. Armando Garcia doubles home Rodriguez. It's now 11-4. Make that 11-5 for Tennessee. As Kyle Marter triples, Garcia scores. They trail Cincinnati 11-5 in the bottom of the eighth inning. Arizona scores. Bobby Sander hits a solo home run. They are leading the St. Louis Rams 3-0 in the bottom of the sixth. Denver scores in the bottom of the fifth. Cody Will singles home Petrarca. They lead Jacksonville 5-0. Denver scores again in the bottom of the fifth. Mike Blakeney hits a sac fly. Gilliam scores. And now Eduardo Masca doubles, scoring both Will and Hyatt. They lead Jacksonville 8-0. We have a final in Tennessee. The Cincinnati Bengals defeat the Titans 11-5. The winning pitcher for the Bengals, Shea, he's now 2-3. The losing pitcher for the Titans, Gish, he's now 4-2. 3 games remain on our schedule. Denver in the bottom of the sixth, comfortable lead over Jacksonville, and we have an update. Joe Roquemore hit a solo home run for the Broncos. They now lead the Jacksonville Jaguars 9-0. The Giants lead on the road over the Seahawks 4-2 in the bottom of the eighth, and the Cardinals lead the Rams 3-0 in the eighth inning. The Broncos score again. Clint Hyatt singles home. Singles home Gilliam, and it's now 10-0. Okay. So we have two games drawing to a close in the ninth inning. Giants leading the Seahawks 4-2, and the Cardinals leading the Rams 3-1. We have an update. The Rams have scored. Joe Daniels hits a solo home run, and they now trail Arizona 3-1. And we have two finals. The Giants do defeat the Seahawks 4-2. Winner is Perez for the Giants. He's 1-3. Joe Rooks for the Seahawks is now 0-6, the loser. For Arizona, they defeat the Rams 3-1. The winner, Green, now 4-2. The loser, Schmidt, for the Rams 3-3. So that game is in the bottom of the seventh, now the eighth. Denver leading Jacksonville 10-0. That's the final game on our schedule. So while that game wraps up, let's take a look at our top performers of the day. Let's start at the bottom. Armando Garcia for the Titans went 3 for 4 with a double and 2 runs batted in. Preston Roby for the Colts, 7 innings pitched, 5 hits allowed, 1 run, 3 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Sam Smears of the Pittsburgh Steelers, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, and 8 strikeouts. Alex Perez for the Giants, 8 innings pitched, 3 hits allowed, 2 runs, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. I think it's over. We have a final. Denver defeats Jacksonville 10-0. The winning pitcher, Tamayo, for the Broncos, 2-3. The losing pitcher for the Jaguars was Howell. He is 0-2. Sergio Zambrano for Atlanta went 3 for 4 with 3 runs batted in. Mark Hicks for the New Orleans Saints, 8 innings pitched, 7 hits allowed, 1 run, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. For the Cardinals, Joe Green, 8 innings pitched, 7 hits allowed, no runs, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Antonio Negrete barely made the top 3, barely got knocked out of the top 3. He's 4th here. He went 3 for 4 with a double, a home run, and 3 runs batted in. Carlos Sandoval, 8 innings pitched, 4 hits allowed, 1 run, no walks, 7 strikeouts for the Buffalo Bills. Tony Tamayo, he got in there. 9 innings pitched, 6 hits allowed, no runs, no walks, 5 strikeouts for the Denver Broncos. Our top performer of the day for the Cincinnati Bengals, Bob Krause, the catcher, went 3 for 4 with a double, a home run, and 4 runs batted in for the Cincinnati Bengals. Well, that's our day. Week 5 is in the books. Let's see where we stand. In the American Conference, the Ravens lead the Browns by 3 games. In the Eastern Division, the Dolphins lead the Bills by 3 games. In the South, the Texans lead the Jaguars and the Colts by 1 game. And in the West, the Chargers lead the Broncos by 4 games. In the National Conference, the Packers lead the Vikings by 1 game. The Commanders lead the Cowboys by 5 games. In the Southern Division, the South, the Panthers lead the Saints by 2 games. And in the West, the Cardinals, 49ers, and Rams are all tied for first place. They lead Seattle by 1 game. Stay tuned for the Super Sim of week 6, 7, and 8. This is the Sim Baseball Vision.